So sovereign AI is less to do with technology and more to do with how the technology functions. So understand that most of the worldwide AI platforms like ChatGPT have been trained on a massive amount of data. Surprisingly enough, most of that data out of, not surprisingly enough, most of that data out of the US, but a lot of the data out of India.
Okay.
So the combination of those data is driving it. So New Zealand is a small 5 million person country. Our data doesn't even register as a rounding error in the data that was used to train those models.
Right.
What sovereign AI is two main things. The first one is that the AI runs here in New Zealand, and so when it interacts with New Zealand people, the data that it gathers, because AI does two things: it uses data to train itself, but then it gathers data as it interacts with people. So the data that it gathers stays here in New Zealand. That's part of it. The second part is that the AI has been trained using data in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly enough, Dragon software, which is the legacy, I say legacy, is the legacy transcription service that has been around since the late 90s.
Mm-hmm.
In the early 2000s, it was roughly 92% accurate. What I mean by that is that you could turn Dragon on and it would create a transcript, and 92% of the stuff was correct in it,
Right.
as long as you were speaking in American English.
Okay.
If you had an accent,
Mm-hmm.
if you used non-English words, it didn't do very good.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon has since bought a very large NLP product, and they have enhanced their product, and they're roughly about 90% to 98% accurate, depending on which language you speak. New Zealand accents and Maori words,
Mm.
they're not very good
Not do
with.
well.
No. But there are some natural language processing products that are being developed in New Zealand, specifically around Maori language,
Mm-hmm.
that do very well with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of sovereign AI is being trained on data that allows them to understand and to respond to
Right.
the
Yeah.
way that we talk here in
Yeah.
New Zealand. The second is that the data it gathers is kept here in New Zealand to be used for New Zealand. Because the sea of data that exists overseas, once our data goes into that, you can't even find it.
Right.
The third thing, and this is it's not a technology thing, it's a regulatory thing, right? So there is this view within the New Zealand wider community with artificial intelligence that we need to be doing things, identifying bias and
Yeah.
and fixing it where possible, being ethical in how we build AI, and those things are uniquely New Zealand because we are a very transparent country. Our government ranks one or two most transparent in the world regularly, and so to carry that forward into AI, we really want to make sure that we're doing good and we're doing it in the right ways in New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
So those three things for a
Mm-hmm.
sovereign AI in New Zealand, that's what it means.